Hi, Carl. Hello, Kath. Finally got around to sitting down to give you a little bit of an update. I feel very, very guilty that I haven't kept in touch the way that I would have liked to. I'm very guilty that we haven't come to New Zealand to see you, which I've been threatening to do for such such a long time. Um, I can't remember when I last updated you, basically, on what goes on in my life today. But just a very quick recap. Um, 6 or 7 years ago, just before COVID, I met a lady, Jessica, who is currently going to a gym, trying to exercise. She's due for a hip replacement, and she's hoping to get some sort of pain relief. So I've got a quick little half an hour of peace and quiet, providing the little dog leaves me in peace. Um, Jessica and I, as I say, met about 6 or 7 years ago, and initially she moved in with me up in Norwich, but when COVID came, it seemed it didn't make much sense to be in a flat in the city when she has this very nice bungalow down here in Beccles, which, as you probably know, is only a few miles from Loddon, where Roz, your sister, lives. Um, and so we decided to move down here. And for someone who has lived in a city for 40 odd years, and I never ever wanted to, never thought about living in the country. I certainly never thought about having a garden because I hate gardening and all of that. It was quite a thought, but as it happens, having come here, um, I love it. It's really Beccles is a smashing little town. It's got everything we want. It's quiet, peaceful, fairly crime free. It certainly doesn't touch us much. And I'm sitting here uh, at my desk looking straight out at a lot of. I've gone a bit mad with bird feeders, but it's lovely to see all the tits and nothing exotic tits, robins, blackbirds. We've got a big, large back garden, which is mostly grass and trees. We've got lots of apple trees, one massive great apple tree in the middle. And at the moment, being winter, what's left of the apples are all over the grass, and it's full of blackbirds pecking away. So, I've just got so sort of used to living in the country, and I love it here. Um, the, the environment is very, very different from my flat in Norwich, which is most people think is completely furnished by IKEA. I'm very minimalist. This is the absolute opposite. It is absolutely full of clutter, I would call it. Jess is a little bit of a hoarder, and I have to live with that. But by and large, we get on pretty well. And life is okay. Technically, retired 4 or 5 years ago from being the systems manager for the owl sanctuary down near Ipswich, and the related mail order company, which was spun out of the owl sanctuary, which has over 30 years has gone on to quite big things. Um, However, having retired, they didn't want me to let me go, so I'm still doing the same job, albeit only maybe one day a week or something like that. So I'm a consultant, which is very nice. So I've got my old age pension. I get a little bit of money for doing the consultancy, and uh, I've got a little bit of savings over the years. Um, all for my children and grandchildren and all of that. So life is generally okay. I was really sad to hear about your diagnosis, Carl. However, um, all of these things nowadays are really quite common, and I'm sure, I have every confidence that you'll get through it. I mean, it's in a way, it's sort of, it's hard to think. I don't remember getting old, um, but we have all aged, and in 2 months' time I'll be 79, as I know you are, Carl. And of course, in terms of the band, I'm guessing we're the survivors, because I doubt Jack and Jock are still around. Sadly, we know that John isn't. We lost John a few years ago, but at least I did manage to track him down, and we did have that nice reunion. But I wanted to go and excuse me. I had planned to pop over to Spain and see him again, but sadly he passed away before that happened. And also I feel very guilty that I've never got out to New Zealand to see. I'd love to go back. I've got a great fondness for New Zealand. A lot of it because it's such a Scottish sort of place. I felt very much at home, and Jess's eldest son and daughter-in-law and the grandchildren are in Brisbane, and have been in Australia for probably about 15 years now. So since we got together, we had this plan to make it a trip together, to do both, to come and see you in New Zealand and to get over to Brisbane. But like a lot of things, I never got round to it as yet. And Jess's son put a bit of a kibosh on it because last year they turned up here, so the pressure to go and see them in New Zealand was off. In Australia was off, and so everything took a little bit of a put in the back burner. And I have to say, at my advanced years, medical insurance costs money. um, the thought of travelling, I mean, even going to London for the weekend, because Jess has got a daughter down in London, and we went down at Christmas. Just packing a bag in that, I really don't. I just can't really get round to it. But just going back to the band, of course, the final the final member that I left out, of course, was our wonderful trumpet player. Excuse me, Paul. Whether he is alive or dead, I have no idea. I I have my doubts about him, but there we are. Um, I'm sorry if this is going to be a bit rambly, but it's just a sort of stream of consciousness. Talking one-sided is not that easy. Conversation is great, and maybe we'll get one fairly soon once you're fitting well again. But in terms of the rest of the people on the ship, we've got Roz is still to the fore, and of course she and her husband Dave live in just outside Bungay. So again, your sister, Roz, Dave, and Jess and I are all within a few miles of each other. That's just the way it's worked out. Norman, I just I can't believe Norman, because he's had so much illness. I mean, two liver transplants and prostate cancer. He's had everything under the sun and still has a lot of enormous health problems. But he's still dancing, and they go to Goodwood and do Lindy hopping and things like that. I don't know how he's still in the go. I really don't. And none of us expected him to still be to the fore, and yet he is, and it's marvellous that he is. Colin, of course, is just Colin. I don't think he's changed much at all. He's like us, a bit white on top, but still very much Colin. And it's good to see that those of us who are still here do have hair. Um, you have, Carl. I have. Colin has. Norman has. Um, I'm not sure who else. I can't remember. I haven't seen anybody else for such a long time. Uh, David Hughes, Hilda, is as bald as a coot and has been for some years. So he and his other half, I really find it hard. I'm just an old man. I find it hard to talk about men who have husbands. But anyway, Hilda and his other half, they live in Spain, as far as I know, and occasionally I hear from them. Uh, I had I sent out my Christmas greeting, a New Year greeting to everybody as normal, and I got a thank you back from Huttikins, who is still to the fore, saying she's a very old lady, but she's still got the sun in the morning and the moon at night, and she's in some sort of sheltered housing and does keep fit and bingo several days a week, so she keeps going. Leslie, I don't know if she's retired now, but I mean she's had a very successful career as a theatrical agent, and I think made quite a lot of money in that. And she lives in a houseboat in the Thames, but I think you know that because you would have known all that when the last time we saw you. Gloria's still around. Um, Barry Westwell is still around. The Meyer sisters. I Annette has sort of gone to ground, but I hear a lot from Steph. I think she's still in Switzerland. I don't think she's a vicar any longer. I think she's retired. Neither of them have got children. In fact, um, other than Barry Westwell, who I think has got a son, a couple of sons, and Leslie, I think you and us are the only ones who actually do have children. And like you, I have 4 grandchildren. Kirsty, your goddaughter, had a big party last Saturday night. It was her 50th birthday. Imagine, my little girl was 50. What does that make me? An ancient? Oh, it doesn't bear thinking about. Anyway, she's lovely. I will send you some pictures of it. But it was lovely to see it, and of course, Charlotte is only 2 years behind her, so it's hard to get your head around it, you know. Kirsty's got 2 daughters, Florence Sophia. I remember when you came and we went to the cathedral, Carl. She had one of them in a pushchair. I think that must have been Florence, who is now 13, and her little sister Sophia is 11. Sophia is severely autistic, and hasn't attended school for 2 or 3 years. But we're working around that, and she has homeschooling, and that. And Florence has been diagnosed as well. In her case, I think it's more that she's very nervous. She worries enormously. Anxiety. She suffers terrible anxiety, mostly about Kirsty's health because Kirsty has lupus. And it hasn't really been a problem for a long time, but when COVID came, there was always the fear that if it got to her, it could have been really quite serious. And Florence has never really recovered from that. But, you know, again, you know, we carry on and everything's okay. Charlotte over in Ireland, I mean, she's in Dublin, and Charlotte's always been a go-getter. She is the CEO of the Institute of Design in Ireland, hobnobbing with you know, the movers and shakers and government people and all that sort of thing. She's done really, really well. And sorry about that. This is this is part of the do. I'm not used to doing this, and suddenly my computer decided it had enough of me, so it stopped recording. So I'm doing it again. So this is the second bit. Yeah, she's done really, really well. And her children, Maisie's 13, Felix is 11. They've both been heavily into karate for a long time. Maisie is actually has won gold several times in the European Championships, and in 2025 was chosen to captain the All Ireland Karate Junior team in Poland, and actually led the team to gold victory and personal victory. So she's done really, really well. Felix has given up karate now because he's very heavily into guitar, and he's learning properly. He's taking lessons, he's learning to read, and he's doing his scales, unlike you know, a lot of kids who just want the guitar but are not prepared to put the work in. And Maisie's also doing piano. So, excuse me, they're both musical, and they're both doing well, and they're all lovely children. It's really nice. And I know you've got 4 as well. I think 4. Yeah, I'm quite surprised to hear about you know, your son and family ending up in Belfast. I expect there's a story there. I didn't see an immediate connection. There we are. So, what have I not told you? I don't know. Maybe I've caught. We've got a little dog, who is somewhere around. Oh, she's lying asleep now. I've always had big dogs, but Jessica sprung it on me that we were getting a new dog, and it was going to be a poodle, and I said, "Oh God, I am not. You know, I don't want to fart in a string." And I'm certainly not going to take any dog that looks like those god awful things and cruffs with the pom poms and powder puffs out for a walk. But in fact, she's not like that at all. She is absolutely adorable, and I love her to bits. And she's a smashing wee dog, and it keeps me healthy because I take her out 3 times a day for half an hour. So I'm getting an hour and a half's exercise that I wasn't getting before. I did buy an electric bike a couple of years ago, and I just haven't done it. Just call it laziness, whatever, you know. But you know, the other exercise I get is in the garden. I said that I don't like gardening, but I've become quite an advocate of rough gardening, I would call it. Jess does all the clever stuff. I look after the grass and the hedges and the trees and things. So if it's got a motor on it, I'll do it. So when I first came down here, because it's a bit uneven, it's quite hard to cut the grass. So I found a second-hand lawnmower that was a wonderful big thing with wobbly wheels in the front that could get around anywhere. And that was great, but it gradually fell to bits. So last year I bought a new one. I looked for one that they're called zero turn with these wobbly wheels. That means you can do anything. And I found a Hyundai, which has got an electric starter, which is wonderful, and it has got 2 cup holders. Why a lawnmower would have cup holders, I have no idea. But there we are. I also have got hedge cutters, I've got a chainsaw, and I have a flamethrower for the weeds. So if it can make a lot of noise and I don't have to put too much effort, that's what Robbie does, and I very much enjoy it. So between sitting here looking at the birds and cutting the grass and keeping everything in trim, um, it does keep me quite healthy. And I did have my annual diabetes check. I've been type 2 diabetes for about 13 years. And I got my MOT, I passed without any advisories. Everything is fine. My blood pressure is good. My sugar, glucose is good. And I mean, considering all the debauchery of the years gone by, I'm still here. Which you could say a little bit of a, surprise, but I don't know. I'm not sure if there's much else to bore you with. I've probably bored you enough at the moment. Oh, last week I celebrated 32 years of sobriety, which it's not a big deal. I mean, it's nice to have 4 grandchildren that have never known me to drink or anything like that, and certainly it's the best thing I ever did, and stopped smoking, 15 years ago when my wife died. So, that little cool guy, the musician, is long gone, and we just got a sort of fairly boring old man, but it's not a bad life. Not a bad life, So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm sure there's lots of other things. I really hope we can get a face-to-face, because it's so much easier to talk than to just ramble like this. I hope I haven't bored you or upset you in any way. I really, really hope that everything goes well, that the treatment does its job. I know it's going to be quite difficult, but I'm sure you'll get through it. We've got this far, the 3 of us, and no reason why we can't be having the same sort of contact in 10 or even 20 years' time. So I'll say bye-bye and hope to hear from you again soon, and that everything's going well, and look after yourself. I'm sorry we haven't got to see you. Maybe it'll happen, I can't say if I win the pools, because I don't do the pools. I don't think the pools even exist anymore, but I don't do the lottery. So it's unlikely that I'll suddenly be able to jump onto first class on Air New Zealand and get out to see you. But, think about you a lot, and really miss your company. That's what I was saying. By the way, your comment about the putting the ball bearing up your arse, it brought to mind a very old gag about a guy that went into Fortnum and Mason's. I think he was an Australian, and he picked up a kiwi fruit and said to the guy, "How much is this?" And he said, "It's £3.50. He said, £3.50 for a kiwi fruit? Well, you know what you can do with that. And the staff member said, "I'd love to help you, sir, but at the moment I'm accommodating a pineapple at £7.50. That's it. Thank you very much. And thank you very much. Trenches for tabs. There we are. Bye-bye. Look after yourself. Take care. Cheers. Bye.